Hey guys, Chishia here, back with another video. This time, it's a long-awaited Oracle guide. I'll be going through both subclasses that the Verdant Oracle has, and will show both builds that I run on both classes. There will be some gameplay footage as well, so let's get right into it. Before we begin, I would like to mention that the skills and talent names that will be mentioned here are translated by me and are not representative of the translations that will be out in global. However, the icons will be the same, so you can match the visuals if you want to follow this guide. Let's start off with the main tree. The main tree will eventually be maxed out, but let's go through some of the core nodes that make the class work. Firstly, we have this node called Encouragement. This is the main node that gives your Oracle an aura buff. This aura buffs allies within 30 meters with 50 points in Strength, Agility, Endurance, and Intelligence. All of these stats are main stats, with Endurance being present in all classes, and Strength, Agility, and Intelligence being present depending on your class. The node below, called Defense Blessing, modifies Encouragement to provide an additional 200 points of physical defense. Next, we have Regeneration Buds. This is a core mechanic of Oracle, and here is where they are located in the UI. At the early levels, you will only have 4 Regeneration Buds. When your healing skills are used, 2 Regeneration Buds are consumed to throw out a Nourishing Seed that will restore health. When your damaging skills are used, 2 Regeneration Buds are consumed to instead throw out a Wild Seed that will deal damage. Next, we have Healing Breath. When skills apply direct healing, there is a chance to trigger a treatment link, which is a healing chain that bounces between allies to heal them. That is all for the core nodes in the main tree. Now, we will first be looking at the build for the DPS Oracle, Thornlash Style. Use the chapters to skip to Healing Style if you are interested in that subclass instead. For substats to go for Thornlash Style, we will want to prioritize Luck, and then go for Mastery or Haste. Luck is very important for Thornlash, while Mastery or Haste have equal importance. For me, I prefer Haste over Mastery. These are the skills that you will be running. Wild Bloom is default, then we have the ultimate skill Barrier, then the specialization skills Untamed Seed, Infusion, Regeneration Pulse, and Nature's Sanctuary. I'll be going into why we run these skills when we go over the talent tree build. Regarding the skill books, your priority will be to max out Wild Bloom, followed by Untamed Seed, then Regeneration Pulse, then Infusion, and finally Nature's Sanctuary. Now let's take a look at my talent build for Thornlash Style. Thornlash Style enhances Wild Bloom to deal more damage in a larger range, and also introduces a core healing mechanic, Symbiotic Mark. 30% of damage done will be restored to allies that carry the Symbiotic Mark. When you do not do any damage for 5 seconds, your basic attacks will now heal teammates. This effect will be lost as soon as you damage an enemy. The first core talent node will be Wild Blessing. This will change Wild Bloom to have 2 charges and cost 15% less energy to cast. Next, we go for Torrents. This lets your Wild Seeds apply Torrents to targets hit. Torrents targets will receive more Forest Elemental damage. Next, we have Pulse Double, which makes your Regeneration Pulse spread twice, which is why we take Regeneration Pulse in this build. Below this, we go for Pulse Loopback, which will allow your Regeneration Pulse to deal damage and contract back to you after expanding. We will take Pulse Echo as well to increase the damage done by Regeneration Pulse after using Infusion. Now, you will find that to move on, you have to have spent 50 points in total. You can choose to follow what I have allocated in order to pass this condition, or you can choose to invest into other talent nodes. After allocating, we are finally able to unlock Deer Rush. After triggering 10 Nourishing or Wild Seeds, Wild Bloom will evolve into Deer Rush. Deer Rush does damage to all enemies in its path and restores health to your allies. This skill is arguably the coolest skill Oracle has access to. Go for Explosion of Greenery next. This will increase the damage of Infusion, Wild Bloom, and Deer Rush after dealing damage with Untamed Seed. Next node to work towards will be Pulse Breath. This will trigger Regeneration Pulse if it's equipped whenever the cooldown of Nature's Sanctuary or Barrier is done. We want to keep reducing the cooldown of Nature's Sanctuary and Barrier. There are 3 nodes that do this. First one is Prosperous. This reduces the cooldown of Barrier whenever Infusion, Untamed Seed, and Wild Bloom does damage. Next one is Wild Shelter. This adds an additional charge to Nature's Shelter and also reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds. Lastly, we have Shelter Swiftness. Every time you cast or trigger a Regeneration Pulse, the cooldown of Nature's Sanctuary is reduced by 2 seconds. Lastly, we move into the mechanic of stacking Pulse Echo. This is done by dealing damage with Infusion. So we will want to take this node, Double Infusion, which will increase the duration of Infusion after casting Deer Rush. Moving down, we unlock the node Green Shock to explode the area around you whenever you gain 20 stacks of Pulse Echo. Moving on to Gems. You will be able to embed gems into every single equipment. For Thornlash Style, you will want to embed yellow tier gems. These gems increase your luck and intelligence stats, which are the stats that are very important to Thornlash Style Oracle. Next, we have the recommended modules. I have mentioned this section in the module guide, but I'll go a little more in depth here. Recommended modules are Special Healing Bonus, Lucky Focus, Extreme Team Luck, Intellect Bonus, and Specialization Healing Bonus. Since your healing mainly will come from dealing damage and lucky hits, we run both the healing bonuses to increase the healing you do. Wild Bloom will get infected by Special Healing Bonus, and Lucky Focus will increase the healing you get from proccing lucky hits. Regeneration Pulse will get affected by Specialization Healing Bonus, and we run Intellect Bonus so we can do more damage to heal more. Extreme Team Luck is a really good supportive module to run in general that will help you and your team by providing extra crit damage and luck damage boosts. Let's also look at this season's Void Armband. I recommend you to take Dark Corrosion Retrieval, Void Pulse, and Void Power. These are not as important, and you can really take anything you want, but I take Dark Corrosion Retrieval because it is very nice for any support to use. Void Pulse and Void Power are nice to have to deal damage and heal your team from that damage. We also have gear set effects that are obtainable from the 20-man raids. The 4 set effect for Thornlash Style will increase the damage of Infusion or the shield value of Nature's Sanctuary after using Wild Bloom or Untamed Seed. Finally, we will look at what Imagines to run. For Gold Imagines, you can choose to run Hurricane Goblin King to boost your luck stat, Mook King to increase your healing efficiency, or Gold Fang to give a shield to your whole team. For Purple Imagines, you can run Fire Mage Goblin to increase your intelligence stat, Shadow Gunner Captain and Mighty Boar to increase specialization and special skill damage and healing strength. If you have the money, I highly recommend investing into Irona or Tina. These may or may not help you get a party, although you're very likely to get kicked as soon as they realize you're playing Thornlash Style. So, how do you play this subclass? Simple. You open your talent tree, click the button on the bottom right, and click Confirm to reset your talent tree. Then spec into Healing Style instead. You have now successfully played the subclass correctly. Jokes aside, there really isn't a rotation to this subclass. You mainly just want to heal while doing damage. Your main goal is to trigger Regeneration Pulse as much as you can, and spamming Wild Bloom and Untamed Seeds help trigger Deer Rush. There is no dungeon or raid gameplay for this subclass since I do not want to torture my CN teammates. Instead, have this short parse that I did on the dummy. Now that we have gotten the joke of a subclass out of the way, let's move on to the real part of the guide, which is Healing Style. This is the subclass you want to run if you want stable dungeon and raid runs. And you can see the huge gap between the subclasses in terms of healing potential. Let's start off with the substats. You'll want to go for Mastery and Haste, and Critical Hit is also nice to have. Mastery increases the amount of healing you do, and Haste increases the casting speed. Your heals can crit, so Critical Hit is not a wasted stat. Personally, I believe it is Mastery followed by Haste and then Crit. These are the skills you will want to be using. Your special skill will transform into Life Bloom. Ultimate skill barrier will remain the same, and you want to use Untamed Seed, Nourish, Full of Energy, and the last skill can actually be anything you want. Regeneration Pulse for the cleanse, Forest Wish for more healing, Nature's Sanctuary for a shield, or even Accelerated Growth for more cooldown reduction. Skill book priority will be Nourish, followed by Life Bloom, then Untamed Seed, Full of Energy, then whatever skill you want to decide to run as the last one. For talents, the first core talent you will go for is Life Extension. This node will heavily increase your healing output. The next one you'll want to go for will be Life Blooming. This will enhance your next Life Bloom to instantly cast and increases healing as well after casting Full of Energy. This node is very important as it helps your healing rotation a lot because of the instant cast. This will also tie into the next node, Bloom. Bloom has a chance to reduce the cooldown of Full of Energy and Barrier by 2 seconds after casting Life Bloom. Next, we go for Transcendence. This node is also very important in helping with your energy management. However, this is not very impactful early on, as it will fully depends on stacking Nourish. Therefore, the next few nodes will focus on increasing the capability of stacking Nourish. Vitality allows Nourish to stack up to 5 times, and when Life Bloom is cast, it will give an additional stack of Nourish to allies who have at least 1 stack of Nourish. Just below this, we have Nourishing Flower. Life Bloom will have a chance to apply Nourish when it heals. Also have Green Nourishment, which will give 10% damage reduction when under the effects of Nourish, and also increased healing received. Having all 4 of these talents will greatly increase your healing capability. After allocating 50 talent points in total, we can finally unlock another core mechanic of healing style. The node Flower Dance will introduce 3 different flowers that will greatly enhance your abilities. These flowers generate over time and will activate when you use a healing skill. We have the Red Flower, which will reduce the cooldown of your next specialization skill. The Gold Flower will increase your healing strength for a period of time after casting your next specialization skill. And then we have the Blue Flower, which will cause your next Life Bloom to apply a shield to all healed allies and grant them damage reduction. Now, depending on if you have energy management issues, you can choose to go for energy expansions to help your troubles, or Green Duo to have a chance for Life Bloom to heal 2 times. Both nodes are still important to go for. After that, we can focus on upgrading the value of buffs you provide to the team through Encouragement. Encourage and Strengthen will grant an additional 50 points of the main stats. Then, Encouragement Extreme will double the effects of Encouragement, bringing the total value to 200 points of main stats and 400 points of physical defense. Finally, we will enhance the generation and effects of the flowers. We go for 3 color inspiration to instantly trigger all 3 flower effects when the blue flower is activated. Profuse flowers to generate the flowers much faster when you're standing in the grass field produced by Emerald Green Foundation. Moving on to gems, we will want to embed green or blue tier gems. Green increases mastery while blue increases haste. Depending on what you prefer, you can use either. You can even go for both to run a balance of mastery and haste. Now we have a good idea of what gems to go for, let's look at the modules. We want Specialization Healing Bonus, Special Healing Bonus, Spellcasting Focus, Intellect Bonus, and Extreme Team Luck. Both healing bonuses are really good as it will increase the amount of healing you do. Spellcasting Focus is really good as well for improving your casting speed, which will really help your casting speed of Life Bloom when it is not enhanced by full of energy. Intellect Bonus is nice to have, but it really is not needed here. It's just a main stat booster to help your overall healing capabilities. Extreme Team Luck is once again a really good supportive module to run in general that will help you and your team by providing extra crit damage and luck damage boost. For Void Armband, we'll be running Dark Corrosion Retrieval, Void Mist Secret, and Void Pulse. These are also not that important, and you can run anything you want. Dark Corrosion Retrieval is nice to have on the support, as is Void Mist Secret. Void Pulse is just there for the occasional damage explosion. There is also a gear set effect for healing style, which is arguably the best 4 set effect in the game. The 4 set effect will allow your healing to overflow and apply a shield to your teammates. Finally, let us look at the Imagines you can run. For gold Imagines, Goldfang is very good to give a big shield to your teammates. Mook King is nice to have, although you really do not need the extra healing it provides. Flying Fish and Spider Crab is nice to have to boost your haste and mastery respectively. For purple Imagines, Fire Mage Goblin increases your intelligence stat, Shadow Gunner Captain and Mighty Boar increases specialization, special skill damage, and healing strength. If you have the money, once again, invest into Tina and Irona. Tina improves the DPS of a whole team by reducing their cooldowns. Irona is nice to have to revive teammates when they make a mistake. She's very nice to have for raids, not so much for dungeons though. Tina is just generally very good in all types of content. So how do you play this subclass? I'll be showing some gameplay footage in the background while explaining what the general rotation is. With the talent nodes greatly enhancing your rotation speed, we're able to stack Nourish to the maximum of 5 stacks and keep the uptime of it very easily as well. Firstly, we use Nourish to apply Nourish to the whole team. We then use Full of Energy to eliminate the cast time of Life Bloom, and then we use Life Bloom to continue stacking Nourish. There are 2 charges of Full of Energy, so you can do this 2 times. Then we use Untamed Seed to regenerate some energy and continue using Life Bloom to stack Nourish and reduce the cooldown of Full of Energy. You can also use Full of Energy to stun regular mobs to help in crowd control and keep your tank alive. The cooldowns of all your skills are relatively very short, so it is very easy to upkeep your healing ticks. Just be sure to keep a lookout on your energy resource and use Untamed Seed or Full of Energy to regenerate your energy. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay while I yap about how it feels to play as an Oracle. I have played both subclasses extensively, and I probably have the highest playtime and experience for both Oracle and Soul Musician. I really just recommend you to stick with healing style. It is very grief to play Thornlash Style, because not only does it not heal much, it also does not do any damage. Thornlash heavily relies on luck, and luck is a stat is in a really bad state right now. It does not scale well. This playstyle might be viable when they rework the luck stat, but for now, keep this shit locked away. You can still use it at lower difficulty content, but please do not use this subclass in content like raids or master tier dungeons. Meanwhile, Healing Style has really insane healing capabilities and can easily heal your teammates from close to 0 to 100. As long as your teammates do not get one shot, healing is no problem. It will also be highly valued in any content. However, please do not button mash on this subclass. You'll still need to handle your energy resource well, and make sure you do not deplete your energy so you can constantly heal your teammates, especially in crucial situations. So I'm sure that many of you are also aware that there is another support class called Soul Musician. I've also put many hours into that class and will be making a class guide for Musician as well. However, I've been asked many times what is the difference between the two, so I decided to also address this question while I have your attention. Soul Musician can heal the team and provide buffs to the team as well. They can buff the main stats of the team up to 32% of the Musician's intelligence stat. That does sound like a very big buff, does it not? Yes, it is. It is a very big buff compared to the flat 200 points of main stats that the Oracle provides. It is definitely much better of a buff in the mid to late game. However, Soul Musician's buff does not have 100% uptime and will drop to 16% and 8%. More of this in the Soul Musician class guide. Soul Musician also has much weaker healing capabilities. It is much harder to perform on Soul Musician in harder content as a result of the weaker healing. It is also a lot easier to keep your team alive as Oracle. In my opinion, if you prefer to have an easier time with content, play Healing Style Oracle. If you want to min-max like I do, play both classes. For dungeon mobbing content, Oracle will be a lot more stable and safe. When it comes to the boss room, you can switch your class to Soul Musician and provide stronger buffs to your team since healing is not required as much as during the mobbing phase. That is all for the Verdant Oracle guide. I hope this guide provides a lot more insight on how to build and play Oracle. While it is an easy class to pick up and play, there are still certain things to look out for. And there are definitely things you can do to improve your gameplay. I also hope that this guide inspires the global player base to pick up support and help increase your support player base. Oracle is still a really fun class to play. As usual, if I missed out anything or you have any questions, do let me know in the comments and I'll answer them as best as I can. Or you can tune in and ask questions when I stream on Twitch. Link in the description below too. Soul Musician class guide will be coming up in the next few days, so for my aspiring musician mains, keep a lookout for that. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye!